Why is it so important for armed forces to wear uniforms during combat? It's to distinguish themselves from civilians, for the civilian safety.
No, that's not why you wear uniforms. You don't wear uniforms to protect the civilian population. You wear uniforms to protect yourselves. On the most basic level, camouflage. Blending into the environment so that you're not accidentally compromised and spotted by the enemy. And you're also protected by literal uniformity, all looking the same, because it's harder for the enemy to observe you and determine what unit you're from, what your task and purpose is. Basic military intelligence collection stuff. Also, it's meant to protect the higher ranking individuals from being sniped and directly targeted from a distance. Because you're always going to try and take out the highest ranking officer. Sow confusion by compromising the chain of command and then attacking when they're disoriented. How, at 100 meters, probably more like 300 meters, can you tell the difference between a private and a captain if they all look the same? Uniforms are not for civilian protection, they're for your protection. They're also meant to prevent friendly fire incidences, like you shooting your own guys, but you seem to be wanting to do that anyways, so I guess you don't really need uniforms either. And wearing uniforms also protects your logistics supply chain. One type of cloth, one pattern, one standard of manufacturing for everybody. All right, we good? Let's move on. What else you got?
The terrorist organization that runs Gaza also has uniforms that they wear for parades, training, and propaganda videos.
I find it striking that you bring up propaganda when this is an Israeli Defense Force video being narrated to us in an American accent. Wonder what that's about. But we're gonna move on.
But Hamas terrorists intentionally do not wear uniforms during combat.
So Hamas do have uniforms. They're a military. Wearing a uniform is about discipline, esprit de corps, pride in the unit. Napoleon himself said, "Men will die for a piece of cloth," and he was absolutely right. But they take them off during combat operations because their uniforms do not protect them. And they're fighting a campaign of asymmetrical warfare, so blending in with the civilian population is a must. So symmetrical warfare would look like Ukraine. Both sides have an infantry, an artillery, they have tanks, they have aircraft. Symmetrical, but Hamas doesn't have any of that. The only thing they have are dismounted infantry troops, so that makes it asymmetrical. And they are permitted to use whatever advantage they can according to the law of land warfare. It's not a war crime to not wear uniform. There are militaries out here on this planet that cannot afford uniforms for all of its troops, and they're the insurgent force against an illegally occupying power that has surveillance drones that can pick them up in 2 seconds.
Hamas deliberately blurs the lines between militant and civilian as a way to exploit the IDF's rules of engagement and commitment to international law.
What rules of engagement are you following? Rules of engagement are generally universal. If you are the uniformed occupying force, you cannot fire unless fired upon. And if you weren't just a bunch of soggy diaper boys, you'd have no problem drawing fire and transitioning into a react to contact. Here's the ultimate question. Do they have a gun? Are they holding a weapon system? If the answer is no, you can't shoot them. So what the fuck are we even talking about uniforms for? Does the 72-year-old woman in a hijab have a rocket-propelled grenade launcher? If the answer is no, don't be an ass.
It's time for Hamas's tactics to be condemned.
Nah, I'm not going to do that. But I'll be watching y'all Thursday. Can't wait.